Good afternoon. John Porteous asked for a little bit of inventory into my MI cupboard, so I dug out a few other bits and pieces on the way, so I'm just going to go through this pile with you. First off, obviously the MI seems to have a varying different number of names. Mineral Insulated Copper Clad, Mineral Insulated Copper Conductor, Mineral Insulated Cable, obviously copper sheath, copper cores, magnesium oxide insulator. This is light duty, up to 500 volts, and this is 2L 1.5. Light duty goes up to 7 cores, I think, and up to about 4 mil. Heavy duty up to 750 volts, goes up to 240 mil and 19 cores, depending on the size of the conductor. I think a 19 core 240 mil cable might be a little bit of a handful. This one is Pyrotechnics, other brand names obviously. I'm not a brand snob, I'll take anybody's pyro to play with that I can. Wrexham, Pyrotechnics, Prizeman, BICC, I think they're, who are they now? They could be part of the specialist wiring accessories club now. But anyway, I've got red, white, I have seen black and plain copper. That's all I have to play with, unfortunately. I'm going to take stuff off the table as I go through to make it a little bit easier to see. So after the cable, we have the glands. Obviously they vary depending on the size of the cable. This is a 3-part gland system. So main gland body, olive, gland cap. All of these are EX rated, fire and Compex approved. So I have a few left of those. Pots and seals would appear generally to come in 2 varieties. So there is one. Let's get another one out. I'll not cut that down deep enough, bugger. Obviously not one I prepared earlier, so that's a 2H 625. So I'm guessing that is, don't know what size core that is. 6 mil maybe. Soldered earth tail on that. That's a 2L 1.5 pot. Just make a little brass bucket, pre-cut twin start thread into the back of the seal, which gives you the grip onto the outer jacket of the cable. So again, as we have these, we have 2 different types of seals for the ends of the pots. Obviously one's bigger than the other. Standard flame-proof seals with the nipples on the top, and this is Compex seal. The difference between the two is the Compex seals, if I can extract them from the pack, have a nipple on the back, so you cannot pull the sleeving off. You cut it in half. Don't know whether I want to cut in half. Yeah, I do. So when you're making your gland off, Ooh. Not going to be able to get him in there, am I? They will go through the gland and create a stopper on the back. So when these are made off into the cable, to get your protection rating on your Compex, you can't pull these through. Whereas these ones, the insulation would just slide over the top after you've crimped the cap on. So we've done the glands, we've done the caps, stick them away. We have the putty, so that's put into the pot between the conductors, and then the cap is crimped on the top to give you a long-term seal. So that is the glands, that is the pots, that is the potting compound. When I started out, I don't think these tails were available like this. We didn't have pots with earth tails in them. So with these glands, just like an SWA, SWA, you have the shrouds that go over the top. Don't have any red ones, that's why I'm not doing a termination video at the minute, because I want the red ones to match my red cable, because I'm a bit anal like that. These were mentioned, MICC, Pyrotechnics Shrink Ons. So again, I'm going to use one of these when I do my termination video, just to show you what these are like. These are a shrink-on boot with a compound in the end that heats up and seals and expands around the cable. These shrink on as you heat them up. A lot of people don't seem to like them, but anyway, that's another option. Stripping, joy stripper, barrel from 2L 1.5 to 2L 2.5 in various steps up through. Little cutting blade in there. Some people have complained they go blunt really quickly. They might do with the heavy duty, but don't remember having an awful lot of problems with the light duty if you don't get a bit of swarf stuck behind the head. And somewhere, because of the magnesium powders, very fine, and magnesium oxide, have a little brush to get inside the bores and clean them out when they get a bit sticky. So different type of stripper. See, these are probably less finicky. These like a nice straight bit of conductor, otherwise they pinch badly. These are slightly less finicky about it. They give a nice clean quick cut. This will also do two different size of bodies. This will do the 25mm gland sizes that sometimes you come across. Loads of people have spoken about T-stripper, often made by apprentices by hand. Some of them with a diamond shaped metal bar, some like with a crank handle. Hacksaw blade split in the end. Peel the jacket off with a pair of side cutters, slip the jacket through the gap, and then spiral the jacket off. Works quite quick. We all need a bit of lube. In the old days you used to get a little black plastic tub. You don't get that anymore, so a little bit of Vaseline on the cable jacket just helps the joy stripper slide through. So once you've got it stripped back, on the heavy duty, the bigger cables, we have a ringing tool. This ringing tool puts a circular ring round the jacket of the cable, so when your stripper gets back to it, it peels off nice and cleanly. I don't find you need that with the smaller thinner jacketed cables. All you need is a pair of pliers to grip round the back and just to stop the speed of the stripper. Once you have the cable stripped, then you need to get the pots on. So these are two different variations of pot spanners. These two use the slide your gland over the cable, put your pot on the end of the cable, do your pot wrench up onto the gland, and then that ensures that as you're threading your pot onto the end of the cable, the pot is going on nice and squarely. Slightly hard seeing inside to see when you've got enough of the jacket through, but then we bring in the torch, so you can look down and double check that your jacket has just about come through to the end of the pot. If you project too far through into the pot body, then you stand more and more chance of spreading the cores apart and touching the jacket, and of course that is a no-no. These two are the 25mm variants. This one again uses the gland to ensure that the pot goes on squarely. This one has a screw fixing, so when you put your pot in, wrong way, you can lock that down onto the pot and then just wind that on. What I don't like about these is it's harder to get them on straight, but I see quite a few people with those. I don't like them, but there you go. So we've done the Vaseline, we've done that. Once you've got your pot on, you need to crimp your pot, and there's the variants that we see. These are both Pyrotechnics, I think. Just happened to be what I had at the time. These ones will go over the end of the pot with your cap inside, and then you wind this down, and that compresses the cap into the pot body and crimps it down. Exactly the same with that one. These will only go down so far. The stop here will stop you from crushing them down any further, and we've got 3 indents on here that crimp the cap in. Exactly the same on that one. Stick that away. Knives, my Fakem stripping knife, Stanley knife. Just want to be careful that you don't nick the copper jacket. If you nick the copper jacket, you weaken it. Marker pen's always good. A pair of scissors. These are my old post office scissors for cutting the sleeve in. When you're making the pot off, you quite often get a tiny little whisker of brass. So if you shine a torch in, you can often see a very fine whisker of brass wrapping around the cores. So you need something to tap it out with. Clean up the inside of the gland as well. You might use a brush or a cloth to wipe the magnesium off the conductors as well. That we don't do. That's bad. That just puts moisture inside the cap. First time you do that will be the last time, hopefully. So spanners, don't know whether, so these ones have been specifically filed out to fit the glands. I try as far as possible to use fixed spanners. They cause less distortion on the glands, and actually if you pick up a set of water pliers or whatever they're called on a complex course, then you'll be out the door. Thank you very much. There are a number of different bending tools. This isn't ideal, but it does make a nice even bend. It's a miniature record copper pipe bender. It works better, to be fair, on uninsulated copper jackets rather than insulated ones. You do have to be very careful you don't damage the insulation. The older fashioned ones were just kind of this bit with leather, so you'd tease it round, and they do a perfectly good job. Done those. I don't have a straightener. I will see if I can pick one up. You might want a soft mallet and a block to dress it into shape. You don't tend to use these for straightening the cable. This is just for manually adjusting the cable into place. When you're all made off and you're happy that you've done a good job, you might want to get your trusty megas out to do an insulation reading, core to core, core to jacket, but also, because none of these cables are marked, you also have to do continuity to find the right cores at either end. If you've got a 19 core cable, that's a nightmare, but 2 cores are lovely and easy, nice and easy to bell out. You want to get a decent insulation resistance if it stands any chance of surviving the years. And last of all in my pile of goodies is a Wrexham Minerals cable calculator. So this is the light duty side. So this gives me cable size reference, the current ratings for bare and covered cables, approximate lengths that you can get, longest lengths you can get from the manufacturer, and the earth loop impedance per kilometre, in ohms per kilometre. Gives you the available sizes, amount of conductors you can get, the volt drop, millivolts per metre per amp, maximum conductor resistances, sheath cross-sectional areas, gland size references, so when you're ordering you get the right references either with the earth tail or the plane seals, the saddles. Also gives you cable diameters, one-hole clip sizes and approximate weights per kilometre. Also tells you where to find them there. Lovely job. Other side exactly the same in the heavy duty. So that's quite nice. Certainly the millivolts, you know, just as a quick ready reckoner. It's a lovely little gadget there. Anyway, that's what's on my table. What's on yours, guys?